Hello, Syed. So,
Hi.
Syed, once again, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
I know, see, your visa, to be very honest. I was just talking to Ravinder because, Rohit, I just want to share your experience because I think you gave me a call in lockdown. Am I right?
Sorry?
You gave me the call in a lockdown when you applied. It was lockdown already, right?
Yeah, it was in lockdown, yes.
I think we both spoke in early April.
Yeah, we started the process in the mid-April, but we spoke in the early April, yes.
Okay, so April and then now April, May, June, July, and August. So we are
Uh,
talking about 5 month process, where you got the visa. So first of all, congratulations. I'm very happy
Thank
for.
you.
So, how was your entire experience? When it comes to because you are one of the students, who applied during the lockdown and got the visa during the lockdown itself. So a lot of
Yeah.
people say that they're not working, process is not working, universities are at standstill, embassies are not issuing the visa. What do you have to say about this whole thing?
Um, the whole thing is just like nowadays everything is becoming online. So you don't have to actually go meet with in person and like do the process and all that. You just need to have a help guider. Like I had Deepander sir who have been guiding me, and you just need to have someone who can help with the documents and submit it, and everything will go online, and you will get everything online.
So I remember I have done one webinar on Lithuania, and one night before that webinar, you called me up, on my phone and said that you want to go to Lithuania, and you had came back from Lithuania from Kaunas University, and that's where this whole communication started. And then we invited you also in our webinar for you shared your experience. Now from that point onwards, when you applied the admission, did you face any problem in your admission process?
I haven't felt any problem yet because everything went normal because I had all the documents right. Even like Deepander sir like told me what are the documents to be needed, and I had exactly like that. So I had no problem with the process. So everything went normal if the documents are right. So
So basically, when it comes to the admission was already conveyed to you that you are going for Vilnius Technical University, and you got the admission in that. So we informed you about the admission process. We informed you about the visa process, and did you got all the information about the visa process well in advance?
yes, yes, you gave me everything like in advance so that I even got all the questions like in the PDF format in the mail, which made me even more prepared, like to face any obstacles in front of me and cross it, so to reach the goal. And it was really helpful that you gave me all the information in advance. Yes, I got all the information in advance. Yes.
Great. So basically, you have applied the visa in Lithuanian embassy on which date?
I applied for the. I think it's. I actually have a visa with me. So I applied for a visa on 14th of no, that's issue date, right? No, or no? I think like a week and a half before. So I'm not. I didn't remember the day. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's
Can you show me the visa? I
yeah.
think.
I think yes, I can actually show you my visa. Yeah.
Okay, fine. It's 14/8. Okay. So
Yeah.
basically, you got the visa on 14/8. Now you applied the visa and it 15 days before, and it took 15 days.
Mm.
Now we're talking about the process starting in the April and getting the visa in August in 5 months' time. But the visa actual timeline was only 15 days. Am I right?
Yeah.
The processing part of so, will it be correct statement saying that the students should apply very well in advance because the entire visa thing is only 15-20 days for Lithuania, but going to that stage of the visa does take time, right?
Yeah. That's true.
So you have to collect your documents, you have to collect your police clearance, you have to
Everything. Yes.
let me explain also one thing. When I spoke to your mother, I
Mm-hmm.
remember when you got the admission. It was month of around about I think June. I spoke to her, and she said, "Dipinder, I'll be paying the tuition fee in the 2nd of July onwards because there was some funds coming up to you, and there was
Mm-hmm.
something." Was it correct, right?
Yeah.
So student, this is exactly what I always tell everyone, that the visa duration is always 15 to 20 days in a lot of European countries, but that doesn't mean that you can come in the last minute and get the visa, because you
Yeah,
have, it took 5 months, whereas there was no delay from the admission of the university. I think everything was on time from our side also.
yeah.
Collecting the document itself, I think, took time for you.
Yeah, the document period is more important because, as you said, visa is just, as I've noticed, it's just 15 days, which is really a short period of time. But the whole application process and getting into the university, it takes a lot of time. The more in advance you apply, the more lucky you are because you have a lot of time to sit and think about the documents, apply in the right time. Slow and steady wins the race, but you have to apply in advance. So
So yeah, we both didn't met ever for face to face. We didn't have a chance to meet one to one. I'm sure we will meet in Lithuania when I visit Lithuania very near future.
oh, okay.
All the promises which I made you on the very first day, or maybe during the conversation, was it always delivered by my team exactly the way it was promised, or was it deviated from my communication?
Actually, the first time when I talked with you on the phone, so I was talking to you about my experiences in Lithuania and my incident which happened, about my family situation, and then you made one promise, which is, I still remember, that going to Lithuania will be done and I will be there for you in every process and you will get a visa for sure. That's a promise. And I was like, okay. And then I really saw that promise came in reality. So I'm really happy that you kept all the promise and the words because I was a bit like, I'm just a normal guy, a student who's afraid, like, okay, I'm like, those process and stuff. But then as you kept the promise and it was went on track, I had a lot of trust in you, and it was went on process and on promise. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that those words. I think it also, we also feel good when we process a student application who really puts in the effort. I think we always, when we guide a student and you take things very seriously, and I'm really glad that you have done everything on time. And when I will get the visa to you 100%. Students, I am very, very openly telling you on this platform that anybody who's a genuine student, who has full motivation to study for the, university of their choice, irrespective of the country they apply, you always get the visa. Sometimes you are misrepresented. So it is very important that you have a right file, you have the right documentation, you have absolutely everything in right way to present, because this is what is going to be seen as your representation in the embassy. So in terms of Lithuania, we always ask for 2 years of income tax return document, and we also ask for the funds has to be at least 3 months old. I believe this is what we also told you, Sayed, am I right?
Yeah,
Right?
that's correct. You need to.
I saw your application, because every application I see myself before going to the embassy. Your mother have got the money from the bank or some source by giving the gold, and that money was showing in your statement. And we also asked you to write a letter, a self declaration, right?
Mhm.
So this is one thing which you need to know, that doesn't matter how your money is coming in, if it is rightly documented, if it's
Yeah.
clearly saying everything with the source of money is given, there is no problem. The visa officer always checks your file and looks for these statements which you like, because a lot of time people have some kind of cash money coming from certain sources, but as long as they are legitimate sources, it is fine, it's okay. Don't get confused with the different statements on the web. So Sayed, how was your interview? Did you got an interview in the embassy? I didn't ask you that.
Oh, actually, that was a fun part because I went there, everything's so prepared. I was even reading the questions and answers at the last minute. And then I went there, I submitted the papers, and they just asked my name and where I'm applying and if all the documents are right in order. And they asked me to write a letter to the embassy, like the embassy of Republic of Lithuania, saying that to request to give me a visa, I need to write like a letter. on the spot, and then I have to submit with a thumbprint, and that's it. I was expecting more questions because I was so prepared, but then I was like, oh no, like, it was funny, but yeah, everything went with a smile in embassy. It was fun,
One,
actually.
one, one thing which I have forgot to ask you was that you went to Lithuania, you did your first year, you came back to India for some reason, you're going again back to Lithuania, you've chosen Vilnius Technical University, VGTU, as the education. You could have picked up any other destination. Why again? Because picking up again Lithuania, which would give me a message is that you are very satisfied with the quality of education in Lithuania, and you
That's
must have
true.
VGTU as a brand because being a student in Lithuania, as soon as people go to Lithuania, they get to know that VGTU is a very huge brand. So,
Yeah.
what was your reason basically? Again,
My reason was basically because Lithuania was so familiar for me, and the quality of education was like here, like, on the top level. And the only place where you can afford less and get high quality is only Lithuania. And you can also get like a European life experience because it's one of the European Union country, which is really cheap for Indians. And you cannot even like live in India with that money, because in India it's like so pretty expensive for some things compared to Lithuania as well. I'm really shocked. I was like, in Europe it's cheap. I'm like, yeah, because in Lithuania is a place where you can afford, like, really, and you will get a European life experience, and you will get a high quality education with the international exposure. So yeah.
when you say cheap, I think let's say the low cost you're talking about. When I talk to Lithuanians, they always say it's expensive. When I talk about people like you, students like you, they say it's low cost. So I think the user get confused. How much? Let's understand. How much were you paying when you were staying? If you have to stay in an accommodation in university hostel, what is the charges you have to pay?
In the university hostel, if you're staying single, it's from 110 euros to 130 per month.
Okay.
But if you're sharing, it's 80 to 90 euros. So I'm
You were talking about
assuming.
university. You were
Sorry.
talking about the rates of the Kaunas University, right?
Yeah,
Technology.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. So but then but this one which where you're going now, that it's 110 euros for shared accommodation.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So 110 euro means we are talking about somewhere like 10,000 rupees, Indian rupees.
Hmm.
So I think, and does this also include your water, heating, electricity, everything, internet?
Everything in 110, everything in 10,000. You would not get that rate in India. Actually, you have to pay separate. You have to pay separate internet. I'm like, yeah, okay. And you will get like a small room for 10,000 in India, which is, but in accommodation is pretty good there.
Was this accommodation on campus for you when you were in your previous university?
Yes, it was on campus as well, because the first time when you go there, the university is gonna give you everything. So
Okay. So when we talk about students, we're talking about 10,000 rupees accommodation cost. You have heard Syed saying that this is exactly true. So all the parents, all the students who are watching this, the living cost in Lithuania is cheaper than Delhi, Mumbai, and because you all know that 10,000 all inclusive. Because in India you need air conditioning, you need electricity, you need internet, you need accommodation, and the best thing is these all are furnished accommodation. So, which is again, you have bed, you have small fridge, and I believe you have a big common kitchen. Am I right?
yeah.
This is how. Okay, cool. So, how much were you spending on the food every month? Let's say if you as a student, and let's say you don't eat out, because when you eat out, it can be anything. It can be very
Mhm.
expensive. But let's say if you cook and you cook for yourself, how much you think a student will spend on the food part now after accommodation?
Yeah, so when I was there in Lithuania, I eat outside only once per week, because most of the time I cook because I work out and I follow some kind of diet. And when you buy food and cook, it's actually pretty cheap, because for the whole week you can get like really good food. Like, if you're aiming to build muscle, it doesn't matter. If you're aiming to fill your stomach, it also doesn't matter. But you get, for the full week, it's like 22 to 23 euros max. You get everything like rice, chicken, bread, milk, beef, yogurt, whatever you want. Like everything will be under 22 euros for the whole week if you choose the products right and wise, and if you cook, it's really cheap there. But if you buy outside for 2 days, you're gonna spend 20 euros. So
Of
you
course.
know,
It is still, if you say for 2 days, 20 euros, I would say even in India, in Delhi, if I start eating outside, my one course meal for any Indian would be at least 300 to 400 rupees. Right.
for sure,
So if you spend like for two times, we are 800 rupees in India.
that's
Also,
true.
2 days, it's again 1600 rupees, which is again 20 euros.
Yeah.
So I believe the food cost is not way expensive. I'm talking about people living in metro cities. Whatever they're spending here, at times you spend the same amount of money or maybe less than that. Basically, on the food costs, it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Okay. So great, and I believe now you have the visa, you have your admission done, you're all
Yeah.
ready to go. Do not buy the ticket right now because we are just working on your tickets right now because there are specific guidelines by each country on the transit, and we have to make sure that you get into the right flight. So therefore, I will tell my team to work with you on the flights so that you don't pick up a wrong flight because there are a lot of students who have problems. They are being sent back from certain countries because they're not allowing the transit. So my to everyone, if you're getting the visa for Europe and you have got the admission, great, but please do not book your flight until you're very sure about the route you're picking up. You should check your transit flight conditions, that whether the transit country allows you to travel to the country, what are the rules they have. They might have a certain amount of hours they allow you. You cannot stay more than that hours. So all this has to be into taken into
Taking
consideration
into account.
in the flight. Any message you want to give to fellow students who are looking for the next year for the low cost education?
For the upcoming students who are going to apply? Yeah, so students just don't be afraid to, these periods, because everything is going to be online for sure. You will have like safety, everything will be assured. Just you have to, but if you're really willing to go and study there and achieve something, you apply. If you have all the right documents, the process will be like a smooth road. Just make sure that you apply before, like way before the deadline, because in that way you will have like a lot of time to prepare your documents first, and then you give it, and then you wait for the application, and then you go for the visa. So everything will be like loose, like easy for you if you apply beforehand. So what I want to say is good luck, and if you're really willing to apply, go for it. Don't be afraid, and achieve something good in life. Thank you.
Great, Sayed. Thank you